Welcome to Truman's Town Hall with your host, Matt Truman.
Hello, hello. This is Matt Truman coming to you recorded live somewhere in an undisclosed location. I am outside of a city. No, I'm actually out at the gun range, and if I brought out my grandfather's .22 pistol, missed that one, and right in the head. I got a squirrel I'm shooting at. Let's see here. Oh yeah, she's dialed in. This is my grandpa's .22. My father ended up getting it when my grandfather passed away, and then I took it over when my father passed away. And the cool thing is, I'm going to unload this puppy real quick, put her on safe. All right. So the cool thing is that my grandfather, his name was Victor. My dad, his name was Victor. My middle name's Victor. And my youngest son's middle name's Victor. So we call it the Victor pistol. It's just an old, inexpensive .22. It's a revolver. It's something fun to shoot. Something to learn how to shoot on. It's not something I would carry. And my grandfather was out in Colorado the later part of his life, so you're not really going to take down a bear with this puppy. But it's fun. It certainly is fun. I hope everybody is having an excellent day. It's hot as hot can be, so find some shade and make sure that you're hydrating. So, busy week. Oh, we got a big plane flying over, it sounds like. So we'll take a pause until it flies over. All right, so that went away. Yeah, I'm kind of near the Air Force Base. I'm out on some land all by myself. There's about, 30, 40 acres out here. It's pretty nice. So back to what we were talking about. I got off track because of that plane. So it has been a busy week, has it not? There's been a lot of things going on. The anniversary of 9/11 happened. 18th anniversary. The weirdest thing, I went into a gas station. I was getting some waters. And I saw, the little sign where it shows you how old you can be if you can buy a cigarette. Well, September 11th, 2001, and I knew it was the 18th anniversary, but that kind of for whatever reason, it kind of sent it home like, wow, kids that were born that day, 18 years. Time, guys, is the greatest commodity that we have. Time. And those folks who were killed on 9/11, they don't have any more time. I don't know. I think about random things like this, and it's wild how certain things happen. It's wild that people do certain things knowing that we don't have an infinite amount of time to do things. I like to come out here, clear my head, put some lead down range, practice a little bit, make sure my skills are pristine. And that's my way of decompressing. What's your way of decompressing? What do you do? Take a walk? I like walking too. I think we should all take that in a little more, take in our families a little more. One thing that I've been doing a little more is getting a little more involved in the things that are happening in the city. It's good to be back in Heber Heights. It's good to follow some of the things. It's my hometown. It's where I was born and raised. I know I've said that about 1 billion times, but it means something to me. As I think it means something to you. Last night, I went to, we'll talk about that in a minute. The Democratic debate. Did you guys watch that? I watched some of it. There's a lot of Democrats out there that are fantastic. We may not agree on some things, but the way the Democrat Party is moving towards, like, the far left is it's mind-boggling. I don't know who's letting that happen, because I don't know many Democrats who have moved that far left, where they just spew this nonsense that the new left, as I like to call them, are putting out there. And that, really, that goes hand in hand with the far right, too. Those two polarized sides of the aisle, if you will, not even the aisle, because, they're trying to take control or take power. But those two sides are now becoming the mainstream. And I believe that's something we, as those who kind of ride the middle or are not intolerant of our brothers and sisters who have different opinions, I think having a different opinion is good. You can discuss things and work things out and work together. That's why what I was going to talk about is, last night I went to the Huber Heights. It is now the Northeast Metro Republican Club. Am I a registered? I don't know if I'm a registered Republican or not. I've voted in the Democrat primary, and I voted in a Republican primary, generally, and I have voted for libertarians. I have voted for everyone. To me, the way I see it, if you will do a good job, that's who I'm voting for. If you have like-minded ideas as myself and what I believe is best for my family and my city and state and country, I'm going to vote for you. So I went there not really knowing what to expect. I had long ago went to, when the Huber Heights, I guess there was a Tea Party group, or Huber Heights for Liberty, or I went and checked that meeting out. But last night I was rather encouraged. The keynote speaker was one of our Montgomery County judges who is running for office. And I believe his name's Judge Purges, James Purges. Hope I'm saying that name right. I hope I'm not butchering it. Because he just so happens to be a Democrat, but he had a lot of good things to say. One of the key takeaways for me was that he's going to continue to look out for Huber Heights. There's a new judge, Wilcox, who's coming to Huber Heights, if you haven't heard, to the Huber Heights court, if you haven't heard. And I was actually looking at the Montgomery County ballots. So he's coming. He's not running against anyone. Judge Purges is actually running against someone. And you can look all that up online. That's not really the point of this podcast. But so he said he's going to continue to look out for Huber Heights, and that he has a fatherly way of performing his job as judge. If you come in and this is your first offense, okay, we'll work with you and do it. But if you continue to come in on the same offense of, say, theft, he's going to have to be stern with folks like that. And I like that. As long as you are proven guilty in a court of law. I'm not one who believes in, before the gavel drops, to throw out different accusations. Oh, they did it. They had to do it. Oh, this is, that is what it is. A lot of people do that, and that's their prerogative to do. You know me, I'm not, I may judge you, But it is what it is. You're not a bad person because you make snap judgments. And I guess we all do it. Anyway, getting off track. That's what I do, right? This podcast it should be called Off Track with Matt. So I kind of liked the guy, I'd like to hear from his opponent, and I'd like to hear, all the folks running for school board. That was a big issue too, guys. And I'm going to get back to that meeting, to the Republican meeting, but for a quick second, Brick City Town Hall, somebody posted the school report cards are out. It's all over the news. I listened to WHIO a lot, and the school report cards are out. And that was the big talk on Brick City Town Hall about the school report cards and whose fault is it and this and that. Well, there are 4 folks running for school board. Ask them questions. Understand what they plan to do to boost that report card up. If obviously there are problems, who receives the full blame? I don't think any one group, school board, administration, teachers, parents, students, I don't believe any one group accepts 100% of the blame. I believe it's shared, maybe not equally, because I believe parents should pull the majority of that. But that's my opinion. But there's a big talk on there. There are 4 candidates running. And the 4 candidates are Tony Cochran, G. Michael Miller, which is Mike Miller, I believe, who's currently on the school board, Robert Mullins, and Shannon Weldon. Shannon Weldon is on Brick City Town Hall. I believe Mr. Miller's on Brick City Town Hall. I don't know if Mr. Cochran or Mr. Mullins is, but those are who's running for the school board. Those are the folks who need to figure out, and whoever ends up being elected, which will be 2 of them, you'll be able to vote for 2. Those are the folks who need to figure out how to tackle this problem of the grade. It's an issue. We can make excuses all we want, but it's an issue. It will keep people from moving to Huber Heights when you have a bad school rating. It doesn't matter where the blame goes or why it's happened or all the explanations. You can explain it all you want. The way I see it right now, my perspective at this moment, and it could change, but the way I see it and my perspective at this moment is that explanation is only for those who are already in the district. It doesn't work for folks outside of the district who may want to move to Huber Heights to help grow this city. So look into that school board race. That's going to be a very important race, and I haven't heard much from the candidates. Maybe it'll start picking. It's September, guys. I mean, hello. But maybe it'll pick up. So let's go back to the meeting. So the judge is the keynote speaker. He explains his feelings on being a judge and how he's done so far and what he's helped to do. He's selling his candidacy to all of us. And at the time, hey, I'm buying it, right? I was very impressed. I liked it, and I think more folks should look into it. One of the things that stuck out. Now, you guys know that I have been paying attention for quite a long time, even in Texas. I knew I was coming back to Huber Heights. I knew I was coming back to this area. That's what I wanted to do. My wife she took on a different position with her job, and it was helping her career. So, family first, guys. And so I went out to Texas for a while, but I knew I was coming back. And paying attention to all the council meetings and doing podcasts and things like that, you hear things, and then things many months down the road happen, and you have more questions. You're like, well, why didn't that happen? Do you remember when City Council voted to, there was the police station and the court building that they were going to do a new roof on. And they put a bid in, and it passed through council. Now, I heard, and through different folks, that the court building